Ladies and gents, welcome to the and this is absurd inventions that should not exist by channel BlueJay. Yeah, BlueJay is I think the first Salmonella style channel I saw, and it's just thing of its own. I like his humor. I like his passive aggressiveness. He builds his humor about, and his topics are awesome, especially like how to survive Wild West and all shit like that. This is gonna be about inventions. This is very sciencey, so I'm gonna love it. Big science guy, at least I think that, right? I love tech, so yeah, this is a win-win for me. This was 3 weeks ago. Somehow I missed it. Great YouTube. Somehow this went under the radar until I saw it now. All right, let's watch this one.
Sponsored by War Thunder. It's the 6th century BC, ancient Greece, and the inventor Perilos was going to impress the king. Like any good inventor, Perilos recognized a niche that needed to be filled. Tyrants often found themselves with a bunch of prisoners in need of a good old flick on the off switch, and these executions needed to be as horrific as possible to dissuade would-be ne'er-do-wells. So how could one go about burning delinquents alive while making the spectacle fun for the whole family? Perhaps we could burn the criminals inside of something that was much nicer to look at than charring flesh. Well, if we learned anything from Fisher-Price toys, it's that kids love their animals. But if we learned anything else, it's also that the bull doesn't go, "Ah, it burns! It burns!" So after snapping some synapses of his sinister little Satan cerebrum, he invented the brazen bull, a bronze statue of a bull that sits over a fire with just enough space inside for some criminal stew. However, the real human meat...
I know about this shit. Okay, this guy invented it. Why do people do inhuman shit in the past? Again, like people are gonna comment, you should not judge past people from like current lens or whatever the fuck. I get it. Like I'm not judging anyone. Like even if I judge, who gives a fuck? They're dead. Time doesn't work like that. There is no going back in time or going forward in time. Like doesn't matter what we say about the Roman times or whatever. Okay, so this whole shit is insane. Somebody said, you know what? I'm not gonna kill them. I'm gonna boil them alive while being in this kind of like a metal bowl. I don't know. I don't know which time period that was where people decided like, okay, punishment should be some form of rehabilitation or something like that rather than eye for an eye or revenge mentality. Clearly, kings are not gonna give a fuck about that. So this is that time. So yeah.
Potatoes of the device was in the statue's snoot, an acoustic series of tubes that would convert the screams of the poor ingredients inside into a sound like the bellows of a bull. With his prototype complete, Perilos pitched his beast to the ruthless king Phalaris of Acrogos, claiming the screams of the condemned would bring pleasure to his ears. And I guarantee you, the screams of the
BDSM much? What is it as called in a shadow or something, right? Yeah, a person must be like that if they're like this. They're like this so much they invented it, okay?
damned coming out of this puppy will be sick as hell. No way. Yeah way. Check it. Holy shit, that's awesome! Guards, put that on a repeat for me. What? Disgusted by Perilos' description of the device, Phalaris tricked Perilos by asking him to demonstrate the horns, locking him inside, and setting fire underneath the bowl to hear the inventor's quite genuine demonstration. Before getting too medium well, the tyrant's tender heart decided to show mercy, freeing Perilos from the brazen bowl and throwing him off a cliff. The tale of the brazen bull is difficult to verify and very well could have—
That is kind of like fair enough. Not fair. Why did I say fair? That is like less cruel. The guy's gonna hit the ground and die instantly, or at least that's what we think. Yeah, but that shit like just boiling slowly like that, yeah, that would be so slow. Any kind of burning is insanely slow and fucked up. It's one of the most fucked up ways you can, yeah. So this shit is actually, that was mercy.
Have been more legend than fact. However, the lessons it teaches are all too real. Now, Jeff, tell me, what was Perilos' biggest mistake here? Whoa, dude, this edible's really kicking in. That's right, he didn't file for a patent. A patent would have given Perilos intellectual property over his brazen bull, and thus make it illegal for third parties, like the king, to use his device without his permission. In short, if you're gonna—
Patent is stronger than king's will. We all know that.
Deal with devils, make sure you do it in their language. The letter of the law. The light of redemption shines upon my face from above. I climb as my mortal shadow clings to my soul. Jesus, man, what the fuck did you take? Here. Hell yeah, now it's a party. Dude, no, it's water. God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I'm just gonna let you sit this one out and rest. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Anyway, for inventors around the world, patents are the must-have piece of paper for granting them ownership over whatever gadgets or gizmos they can puke out of their imaginations. However, even if they existed around the time of Paralos, you're unlikely to be able to patent something as overtly unethical as a human crockpot murder statue. But that doesn't mean there's not gray areas. So today, we're gonna learn about the inventors that really pushed the moral envelope and created some of history's most ethically questionable patents.
I know that, oh god.
Back in 1927, oh, sorry, that must be my wife. Hey honey, what's up?
She wants me to talk about her small business! You're married to an F-16? Hey, she's an F-14!
War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and not only can you fuel your god complex by obliterating losers with over 2,005.
I'm not gonna lie, even I thought, isn't that F-14? Even from the watching from the front, yeah. I'm watching too many jets video.
100 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, but you can do it for free on PC, console, or your phone. With every
Yep, I'll go to original video page link from there, support this channel.
days of premium account time. It's available for a limited time only, so be quick. And now, back to the video. In 1927, there once was a bright mind in California who shared a hobby with yours truly. Punishing naughty boys. Helene Adelaide Shelby was on a mission to solve the problem of the high number of retracted confessions plaguing the criminal justice system. What good was arresting naughty little boys if so many of them evaded being chained up in a cell, Helene thought. Therefore, our hero decided to target this issue at its source, the interrogation room. Questioning culprits with your run-of-the-mill detective was so 1910s fashion after all, so she found herself pondering a question we all have from time to time. What if, instead of a random dude in a button-up threatening them with some measly prison time, the culprits feared for their mortal soul instead? Behold, the future. The suspect, believed to have killed a man in cold blood, nervously inches his way into a dark room, the door slamming shut behind him. The space before him is chillingly empty, save for a single curtain draped over the far wall. His breath catches and heart pounds as chains clink taut, lifting the curtain and revealing his guilt. The skeletal remains of the very man he murdered, standing once more before him. A shroud of ominous light radiates from the bloodlusted red light bulbs in his eyes. Wait a minute, light bulb? But before he can question further, his hair stands on end as he suddenly hears a winding, painful churn emanate from the corpse, sounding suspiciously like a tape recorder.
It is I, Michael Dahlman.
Yeah, obviously there are problems with this. First of all, this could be psychologically influenced, so somebody could just argue like the guy just got scared for no reason for whatever that thing is and just admit to something that's not true. This is why anyone is intoxicated on drugs or whatever, their confession don't matter much. So it is similar to that. Like they could just argue that in like court, like yeah, if you're just gonna create this boogeyman show, of course he's gonna admit to fucking anything. So that's just, yeah.
Confess to your crimes.
Could I just have a lawyer?
Fuck.
Helene filed a patent for an apparatus for obtaining criminal confessions and recording them. In essence, it was a lie detector, consisting of a skeleton in a dark room with spooky lighting and red light bulbs for eyes. With a megaphone and film camera in its skull, Helene's goal was to induce a supernatural experience to work upon the suspect's imagination and cause them to spontaneously.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure lie detector try to make sure that your emotions are at check. So, and then they basically proceed with it, like questions, otherwise that wouldn't work.
Confess to their crimes. And honestly, not a terrible idea. After all, the fear of supernatural punishment works for Catholic boys in confessional booths, but that was because of a different kind of bone. Now, is it immoral to patent a device whose primary function is essentially psychological torture? Sure, but that's only a problem if you're using it on people. These are criminals. But regardless, there doesn't seem to be any evidence that this was ever actually built and used, which is probably a blessing.
Murder, serial killing, tax dodging, stealing a chocolate, it's all same. They're all criminals. They're all same.
In disguise, as it's pretty much the poster child for a coerced confession. Criminals aren't quite people, as we've learned, but believe it or not, they are still good for one thing. their bodies. No, I don't just mean the bountiful slave labor they provide for pennies on the dollar in the land of the free, I'm talking about their corpses. With medical schools booming post-American Civil War, the study of anatomy and dissection on cadavers was growing in demand. And if you were one of the up-and-coming surgical students looking to slice and dice in a way that suffice, you needed a steady supply of legal corpses in the form of donors or executed criminals. But unfortunately for them, the demand had begun to outpace the supply for corpses, so it looks like they're shit out of luck. What's that, Timmy? Oh, sure, go for it. Oh, well, this solves everything. The illicit body snatching trade was at an all-time high in the late 1800s, providing perfect, albeit slightly decomposed bodies for all your student slicing needs. And so naturally, this also opened a market for the anti-body snatching trade. Enter Philip K. Clover.
Yeah, we've seen that many times. Throw human suffering at it, throw out any human rights, and it's like there is no ceiling to what humans can do. Science, biological science, we want to advance, yeah, just throw the legality out of the way. Who gives a fuck? There you go. Yeah, it's all normal. Like it's war. It's war. Let's just say it's war and move on.
An Ohio artist who got to work theorizing ways to shoot body snatchers in the foot. What if I shoot them in the foot? Introducing the coffin torpedo. Patented in 1878, the invention sought to, quote, prevent the unauthorized resurrection of dead bodies. To do this, an explosive would be rigged underneath the coffin lid with a tripwire, so that when a would-be thief took a gander inside, they'd be met with a mouthful of lead pellets.
But what if it was legally exhumed? Wouldn't they get shot as well? Okay.
Increasing the body count in the grave. Why bother trying to change a criminal's heart when you can just remove it? Obviously, this would be an excellent deterrent for any aspiring grave robbers. You know, so long as you're careful about when you set it. Hey, it's supposed to be an open casket. Wait! Jeffrey! No! Hey, it's supposed to be an open casket. Wait! There was also the grave torpedo, patented in 1881, but instead of a 12-gauge makeover hidden inside the coffin lid, this one was pretty much just a landmine buried above the coffin. A pretty brutal deterrent.
I was about to say, why do that Indiana Jones level like rigging up gun shit when you can just put explosive in it? TNT never, every time it works. TNT just there to save you. That's what it is. Much better than any gun.
Only made more fitting by the ominous advertisement for the device stating, "Sleep well, sweet angel, let no fears of ghouls disturb thy rest, for above thy shrouded form lies a torpedo, ready to make minced meat of anyone who attempts to convey you to the pickling vat." A description that comes up.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you would be also exploded because the explosion doesn't see where it's attacking, so the corpse itself would be destroyed completely. I don't know.
A little too eager for gore, in my opinion, so I wouldn't be surprised if this guy spent many a night hiding in cemeteries to see if his device worked. Yo boy, here they come! So, this is it?
Yeah, I can't believe it. We did it, George. We finally found my father's grave after 10 long years. I'd just about given up hope, but I knew how much he wanted me to have the Peters family locket that he was buried with.
Oh no.
It's been in our family for 145 years after all. Myself and my 8 young children, all under the age of 9, half of which who have disabilities, will be so thrilled to have this locket back in our family. I'm their only source of support left after the tragic passing of their mother and all of our extended relatives in
He doesn't care. Scientist doesn't care. Yeah, he's just there to see if it works. He doesn't give a fuck.
a series of horrific accidents. They could really use a pick-me-up. Speaking of, can you help me pick this up?
It's unclear how widespread these devices were in their time, but there were reported cases of them killing or injuring a number of robbers. However, innovations in refrigeration would...
I mean, it works. Like, successful. The guy probably died thinking it works.
soon curve the corpse supply problem, so these devices would be rather short-lived. And good thing they were, because I doubt OSHA would be too fond of having cemetery workers basically stare a live Victorian claymore in the face as they carefully lower it 6 feet into the ground without any sudden movements. But enough about people at...
Once we went to the moon, once US went to the moon, let's just say, a lot of like organization rose up because we got the photo of the Earth, a real photo. Like, yeah, I guess that changes everything. But like real, environmental agencies, protection agencies, OSAS and things rose up. Before that, sometimes I genuinely wonder, like things that just intuitively you think that is inhumane, no way any government or anything would be able to sell that. A lot of shit like that did work. I bet BlueJay will never run out of ideas like this because shit like that used to happen back in the day. Nowadays, you can't even think that. Like, who would approve of that?
The end of their lives, what about the beginning? The wonder of childbirth is said to be one of the most beautiful moments you can ever experience.
Oh no.
I don't say that. I find it C tier at best, but maybe we can make it better. Have you ever been giving birth and I don't say that. I find it C.
Okay. Pirates Online, DVD video, whatever the fuck that. The yo-yo, what is that? Yeah, that's yo-yo. I don't even know what that is. There's a knife there. Like, smartphone acting as a drink. What the fuck? Tax evasion. That just makes sense. And D is okay.
Tier at best, but maybe we can make it better. Have you ever been giving birth and thought to yourself, not enough G-force? Well, back in the 1960s, George and Charlotte Blonsky sought to spin things up in the baby delivery meta by literally spinning the woman up, submitting a patent for a, quote, apparatus for facilitating the birth of a child by centrifugal force. Seeking to reverse the decline in both infant and maternal mortality rates, the idea was to strap an expectant mother to a table shaped like a foreshadowing crucifix, pull a lever, and then spin the poor woman on the most painful day of her life.
Yeah, you just said centrifugal force. As soon as you said that, there was a chill went down my like chest and spine. Apparently, that's weird. Never had that. What the fuck? What the fuck? Do you understand like how birth happens? Do you understand the concept of blood pressure? Do you know how many elements a doctor has to check it? Should we do C-section? No, blood pressure is high. Should we do you know the level of shit that goes through the checklist? Do you know how complex human body is? You want to what is this, Looney Tunes? You gonna do centrifugal force? So baby like just shoots out like a machine gun or something? Where is baby gonna land, man? That's newborn baby even falls like a few inches, it could hurt itself. How is this? How are you going to collect the baby safely?
Life until the baby pops out into a net, delivering a baby and giving it its first crib. Now that's what I call killing two birds.
Do you know one of the first thing is once a baby is born? Protect its head. Mostly its neck, but that's why protecting it so it doesn't do all this and crack its own neck. If it shoots out into the net, wouldn't it be cut? The end. Anytime anybody holds a baby, they say, oh, hold the head, you idiot. Because this is not stronger at that point. It's very easy to like crack it.
Birds with one stone. Except the birds are people. And a mother and child. Now, you might imagine the Blonsky couple must have come up with this idea based on their own childbirth experiences. No, they were childless. Instead, they got the idea from a zoo, where they watched an elephant.
Are you sure they're childless or they're childless because of a reason? Back then, nobody knew anyone. There was no internet, there was no photo, there was no smartphone, and people do people things. Are we sure that in their closet there are no skeletons? Baby-shaped ones. Are we sure of that?
Spinning around in labor. Wow, nature is beautiful. Sir, do they always do that? What? Oh yeah, like, that's just nature. Supposedly, they were told by the zookeeper that this was something elephants do all the time before giving birth, which, by the way, is just not true? I couldn't confirm that anywhere in my research, so that guy was probably just fucking with them. And
10,000 pounds of mass. Do you understand physics? Do you know why elephants have the stumpy big ass leg? I don't
Thank God he did, because it ended up giving me excellent YouTube content. They believed a device like this was necessary because, as they put it, civilized women did not have the musculature present in more primitive women, who had easy and pain-free childbirths. Because what is a 1960s patent without a wee bit of racial undertones? I'm sure there's probably a few.
I mean, that might be true though. If you're living a leisure life, you don't have, this is why gym has become a thing. Like, look at the people today, average people. They're somewhat muscular because they saw somebody online just lifting, right? I started lifting in 2010, I think. 10, 11. And I was really jacked by the 2013 and 14. Nobody like I see around, like barely few celebrities in Bollywood or something, but like usually people are not jacked. Very few bodybuilders that you never see. People used to be like, oh, you're in the military? You're in the bodybuilding? People used to just ask me this question. I'm like, what the fuck? Am I an alien right now just because I wanted to build muscles? But nowadays, that's not the case. Nowadays, obviously, I have like larger muscle than you would find someone. I don't know how that happened. It just happened. But like, people are muscular in general, right? Like, I see them. Like, okay, somebody's like, even like rightly fit, slight muscle and things like that. So it just become a culture where everybody's like strong and muscular, even though they have like they're they're driving Mercedes and having a leisure life. Back then, nobody was lifting and squatting. I don't know, 500 pounds, right? So yeah, like their muscle skeleton structure were probably weaker because they're living leisure life. They're basically just like literally people holding hands, stepping inside horse carriages and just everywhere. Doesn't even walk somewhere. Having like some kind of like a butler or whatever. Rich people were like weaker in that way.
Few concerns going through your minds, like what if it doesn't spin fast enough to get the baby out? No, it will. It got up to 7 Gs of force. For reference, that's as much as Apollo 16.
7 fucking Gs? Okay, is it lateral Gs? Which Gs are there? Like that are like, yeah, but yeah, 7 Gs, damn son. That's like like driving Nissan GTR at a steep corner at an 80 miles per hour, some level shit. Like I've been there, like I literally had like this kind of like a weird pain, and I'm like, no, I'm strong enough. I'll lift a lot of weight. I'm very muscular. No way, nothing can happen to me. But that's not how anything works. If you're not used to it, I came home and my neck was completely stiff. I'm like, fuck. It took multiple weeks to like heal.
Experienced on re-entry of Earth's atmosphere. This would essentially turn your precious newborn into a 54-pound medicine ball desperately pushing to rupture the walls of your womb. Other features include an emergency brake for safety or comedic effect, and a bell to announce the joyous occasion and signal the end of the ride. It's reported that this device was never used, and no babies were born this way, although I believe we have evidence that proves otherwise. At the end of the day, the fetus fidget spinner was truly ahead of its time, as I can 100% see this device selling well in our current environment, given some slight modifications. Alright, ma'am, you ready for the happiest day of your life? Yes, I'm just happy this should make the process quick. Not too quick, though. Try to hold on for about 27 seconds for me, and aim for black. The father's white. Place your bets, folks, place your bets. Betting ends in 25 seconds. $50 on red, 100 on first 12. It's coming! You better hold it in or I'm charging the payouts to your medical bill. The Wheel of Misfortune was awarded the Ig Nobel Prize posthumously in 1999, a parody award of the Nobel Prize. Because after all, an idea doesn't have to be good to get a patent, it just has to be new. But I can't imagine there are any ideas going through your head right now, Jeff. Jeff? Oh, I gave you lean. Yeah, that's not gonna help someone who's about to OD. You really shouldn't have drank that. What, he's not gonna use it? Besides, I need his username and password for War Thunder. Make sure to check.
I mean, if you're an RPG guy, you need to loot bodies. Like, that's what it's all about. Loot is what it's all about. Yeah, did you find any orange tier weapons? You didn't? Okay. His fault was he trusted BlueJay. He should have known better. Yeah, well, go to original video page link from this. Support this channel. BlueJay is awesome, as this video proves it. I don't even know, man. Like, look, man, this is like top tier channel. I hope he gets multi-million subscribers like Salmonella has. Salmonella's OG, but still, like, this is like thing of its own. I like the humor. I like the way he finds stories. It's just awesome. Right, well, there was absurd invention that should not exist. Should not is like a hard thing. Idiot's gonna be idiot. There are smart idiots, but still idiots nonetheless. Like how Sheldon is from Big Bang Theory, like a smart, but it's a kind of a moron in the end of the day. There has to be people like that, so we know what not to do. Apparently, we shouldn't make a centrifugal force machine so birth rate can be, like accelerated. Yeah. All right. I'll see you next time.